Alright, so as promised in my last video, which was the week 16 to go on the road to Ironman Cairns, this video is going to just be a little bit of a recap on, and a review I guess, on the Kingscliff Triathlon, which was held last weekend, which was the 1st of March 2026, in the beautiful little village of Kingscliff, which is about an hour and a half, an hour 40 south of Brisbane, over the border in northern New South Wales. So anyone that hasn't been there, it's well worth a trip. So it's a very scenic little village on the river outlet, with some beautiful walking boardwalks and things like that. So anyway, on to the race review itself. So the race actually fell on the end of recovery week for me. So I'd had a 3-week build, and this was my 4th week in that cycle, which was a recovery. So for me, it sort of worked out as a perfect little hit out to see where my fitness is at, but also to practice some race day nutrition and things like that, and especially the transitions as well. So, and one of them didn't go as well as it probably should have, but we'll talk about that in a second when we get to that particular transition. So the race does hold different distances on the day. So I competed in the Olympic distance, which was the 1500 metre swim, 40k bike ride and 10k run. The swim itself, it starts down at, you actually walk from where the transition is and where the finish line is, about a K and a bit, down through the boardwalk, and I'll put a little graphic up of that, down to the swim start, and you swim with the current down the river. So very, very scenic as far as the swim goes. The water was crystal clear. It was a little bit amusing in the swim briefing. One of the TA officials who gave that briefing was saying that if we hear a continuous whistle or whistle blasts from the lifesavers on either the paddle boards or the boat, we are to exit to the left of the river to the boardwalk itself and walk back to transition. And while I have had drones out today and the water's very, very clear, we just want to make sure. So what he was talking about there'd been quite a few bull shark sightings, I believe, in that river over the last week or so. So they were being very safety conscious and mindful of that as well. So, but it did make for a few sort of amusing moments with everyone waiting for the swim start. The swim start itself, they actually hold a rolling swim start for the Olympic distance. So they set you off 2 by 2, and your time starts when you cross the timing mat at the top of the stairs on the entrance to the river. So luckily no one was silly and sort of rushing and pushing each other down those stairs. We just took our time, and to me it makes for a good swim start as well, because some of those mass swim starts, like one of the last ones I did at Raby Bay there, you can get some people that overestimate their swimming ability, go out hard in the first 50 and then get into a little bit of trouble, and creates a little bit of a bottleneck from then on. But these rolling starts I think are great for triathlon in the way that they make it a lot safer, and they also let you ease into your swim, so you're able to pace yourself a lot better with that. And you can also seed yourself accordingly. So if you know you're a bit of a stronger swimmer, you can go to the front of the starting group, or if you're a bit weaker, you can move back. And you're not disadvantaged in any way, because your time starts as you cross the timing mat entering the water. So I really do like that. I know it's been introduced in Ironman for a while now, and those Ironman mass swim starts used to be absolutely chaotic when there was 600-700. I can only imagine now with 1,000-1,500 if they tried that. So anyway, the swim itself, like I said, was it was downriver, so you had a bit of a current assist, so it made for some good swim times. The swim was a little bit short. My Garmin showed 1,238 meters or something like that. I averaged around the 1:31 pace, so the current was definitely assist. It was a non-wetsuit swim. Water temperature was 27 degrees. I bought myself a new tri-suit last week from Neopro. Really awesome, comfortable tri-suit. I did wear that for the first time, and I have a swim skin as well over the top of that. So I guess I gained a few seconds from the swim skin itself as well. So exiting the water, you exit up a boat ramp, and it's a short run. I think the transition was about a minute 30, a minute 40 in total on looking at the time. So you're running literally from the boat ramp across the road into the park there at Kingscliff itself. Transitions are well laid out, heaps of space, and I didn't do too bad with that. I'd done that sort of pre-recce prior to heading down to the swim start, where I looked at where I'm coming in from the water, I looked at where my bike, I found a tree that I used as a bit of a marker, so I could reference off that to know where my bike is. And it was a pretty smooth transition, to be honest, and straight onto the bike and straight out. So this time the bike went fairly smooth. I did this race back in November, just before Christmas there, and I dropped my chain in the first few hundred meters coming out of the bike. So I was really fingers crossed that there was going to be no little incidents like this, and it did go smoothly. The bike course is a bit interesting, and I'll throw a map up and you can see that there, but the bike course is a 4-lap course, and it has a bit of a round the block loop when you come back into Kingscliff itself. And one thing I would say, it was very, very crowded on the bike, and the reason for that, if we look at the way the races are started, the sprint distance race starts prior to them coming down and starting the Olympic distance race. Now the sprint distance race is, I think, 7:50, 20 and 5, so it's 2 laps of the bike. But when we're coming out, they're sort of still in their, some of them are still in their first lap, some of them are in the second lap on the bike, so it does get very, very crowded. When we started the bike, we also had a tailwind down the front of the esplanade there, so speeds were a little high for some of us sort of at the front of our age groups, where some of the sprint people, you know, they're new people, they're entering the sport, they're riding mountain bikes with flat shoes and stuff like that. We're passing at, nearly double, sometimes a bit more than that, their speed, and they're a bit wobbly, they're a bit all over the place, so you've got to be a little bit mindful of that and a little bit cautious. So all in all, it wasn't a bad ride. There was one little incident I had in the second lap, coming through the corner at the bottom of the, heading into the bottom section of the bike, where there was a bit of a bottleneck of a lot of people trying to get through the same corner, and I ended up getting flung right out wide. A lot of potholes and congestion there, so a bit sketchy, but backed right off and made sure I stayed safe and just kept an eye on everyone else as well, so I didn't want to see anyone fall in that particular corner. We also had a few showers of rain during the bike, which makes it a little bit sketchy as well, especially when you come back into Kingscliff village itself. You sort of come up and there's a lot of little speed bumps. There was a lot of potholes and corrugation on the road, but the particular roundabout at the very Kingscliff end of the course has a tree root that grows out halfway out of through the roundabout from the centre of the roundabout, and it's right as you hit the apex of the roundabout, so it throws you off. And when you come off that tree root, the actual roundabout is off camber from that point to the exit, so you have to be really, really careful there. And my wife was saying that she did see a few people come down on that particular spot, which when I looked at it before the race, I thought, oh, that could be a problem. You're going to have to sort of be very cautious and slow right down through that particular part of the course. So going on to the end of the bike, no real issues came through, no mechanicals for once. Well, saying that, my computer mount did have a bit of a malfunction, but that was just some of the rough corrugated roads, and it was nothing that really slowed me down, and it's something that's easily fixed with a replacement screw, so that's been done and dusted. So on to the end of the bike, no big issue there, straight into T2. Now T2 itself, this is where I came in, and when I looked at the course prior, I actually thought we came in a different entrance, so I was a little bit disorientated with that. And I came round and I actually took a few seconds to actually find where my bike racking was. So there you go, one of those, been doing the sport for 40 years and still can't get your transition right. So, and I think I lost probably, you know, maybe 5, maybe 15 seconds there, I'm not real sure, but at the end of the day it was really irrelevant. So onto the run. Now the run is a 2-lap run course. It starts off, you sort of run down along the river that you swam up on the boardwalk itself. So it's a bit twisty and there's a little sort of bit of an up and down as you head sort of out halfway to the bridge or 3/4 to the bridge that you cross over, and then you run back up the other side of the river, do a loop around at the end of the car park there and back round, over the bridge again, back up the boardwalk, and then out to the actual point, which is like a rocky inlet, and then through the park itself. And I found that bit through the park a little difficult. I was wearing the Asics Metaspeed Sky, so they're the carbon plated shoe, and they don't have a lot of lateral support. They're great running in a straight line and things like that, but laterally you can very easily roll an ankle. And I have a little bit of an issue with one of my left ankles where I have rolled it a few times. So that one, it was just a case of slowing down and concentrating and being mindful of where you're putting your foot. And being a 2-lap run, at least the first lap, you got a bit of a look at it because you knew you were coming back and the finish line was going to be there. It was literally 300 meters from the finish line, which was also the turnaround for the, you turn around just before the finish chute. For the end of the first lap. So second lap in the run wasn't too bad. I did fade a little bit in the last 2.5K, I guess, and I'm putting that down to, I didn't feel like I went out too hard, but then again you never do, and maybe I did. I did take a gel in the run, as literally at the start of the second lap, so I'm hoping that sort of kicked in a bit, but I still did fade towards that last bit of the run. All in all, the good race. I raced back, as I said, in November, and I did 2 hours and 16 minutes and so many seconds for that, and I had second place in my age group there. This particular race, which was a few months on, I did 2 hours 11:53 and actually won my age group and only just won it by 6 seconds. So, you know, we're in the 55 to 59 age group, so still highly competitive for us old blokes, which was quite good. So that was the end of the race, and I pulled up pretty good, which is what I wanted to see. You know, I'm training for Ironman, so you're hoping your endurance is there. It's Wednesday today after the weekend. I had a good little 90-minute ride yesterday and a 1 hour run this morning, and I'll hit the pool again today. So it's as if I didn't really do much at all on the weekend, which is good. That's the way you want it. So anyway, if you've made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. If you've subscribed to the channel, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, you know the drill. You're more than welcome to. And until next video, stay safe out there. Cheers, guys.